We Important Podcast.
All right, man. Welcome back, everyone. Long-awaited return to the We Important Podcast.
No, it's definitely been a long time coming, man. Welcome to season 3, guys.
It's been a full year. I think the last month that we recorded in 2022 would have been like March or some shit.
Something right about there. Season 1 was a strong boat, just pushing through. Season 2, we kind of just lost our touch. But with a lot of people that reached out to us, it felt right. We had to make the comeback.
For sure. And I think, season 2, as short-lived as it was a good time still. We had some strong guests, returning guests. We had our sisters on. We had some new friends. We got some new artists and things like that. Cool perspectives from the multifaceted Clevelanders.
But it feels like we've missed a lot of important shit since we've been gone. And I know I can say that the world feels like it's gone to shit in the last 9 months since we've been on the air, man.
Definitely. I think if the one thing I've noticed in the world that has been missing is the We Important Podcast. To kind of make sense of all of the chaos that's been going on. So, from 2022, since we last recorded, where do you want to start as far as all of the shit that we didn't cover being on hiatus?
We could go over a million different things here, but let's get right to the main things that I think's involved in a lot of people's lives at the moment. And I feel like each and every fucking day I turn on my goddamn phone. Some way, somehow, I'm getting a news article sent to me about some bullshit, either good or bad. And I feel like that's the biggest thing on everyone's hot take right now. They're going to say something involving media, social media, and I feel like that's something that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, so as far as what?
Well, I feel like, I want your take on this. I feel like in the last 12 months or so, social media has shown me that the world's getting worse, the way people are treating each other. Now, I could be wrong. This could have been a thing that's going on for a while now.
What points to that?
I think it's creating the values, the morals of people are just changing.
Like specifically, what have you seen that has pointed to that?
The way people treat each other in face-to-face communication. Like, social media, everybody feels like they got a voice, and I'm for that shit. But some people got the stupidest fucking opinions, and you got the right to say it, man. Like, we're stupid as hell, too, and we're giving you our own opinion. But you're listening, right? But a lot of these people, they just need to remember that everybody's a human. You got to watch the words you say. And a lot of this shit gets taken to heart, especially something that people are passionate about. Yeah.
Well, see, okay, so I can speak for me, right? 2022, I spent the entire year not on social media. I deleted all of my accounts. I took a nice, clean break from it. I was living real life. And I did feel that I was missing information, right? You get off of Twitter, you get off of Instagram, and you don't see the headlines as much. So I did something to implement the news that I was missing out on. So I downloaded a news app. There's a myriad of news apps that you can download. I think the one that on my phone is called Smart News.
Okay.
Compilation of different outlets and shit.
I'm a Flipboard guy, but...
Yeah, but it's the same thing. Flipboard's the same thing, right?
Yep.
And I think, I can speak just from the headlines and shit that you get. There's still... Because I'm not a big news guy. I never have been. But what I see a lot is celebrity news, celebrity headlines. I think every day since I downloaded that app, there's been a Kardashian update. What Kim's doing, what the sisters are doing, what Kanye is doing, of course, which we'll get into. But I think that also contributes to, this feeling of no progress. That we're not working toward a solution to anything, because as soon as shit gets bad, and as soon as for every bad headline, there's some kind of distracting celebrity headline to fucking,
Go to go with it for sure.
Yeah, to take our attention away from that shit.
But then every once in a while, the bullshit they sneak up on you is a do-good video or headline, right? Like the big thing is with TikTok, not that I have that app, but the big trend is, the paying it forward shit. And I see a lot of dark humor about it. I see a lot of people paying for it and doing it. And I think it's a nice thing. But then you get to people playing devil's advocate. Why do you have to record that? And it's like they're trying to show that the positivity is going to hopefully influence people, especially the ones where you see people giving money or food to the homeless.
Yeah.
Like, I love that shit. And I hate the people that go, why the fuck you got to record yourself doing a good deed? Well, I'm trying to hopefully influence others to go do this. And I think that's where social media is working.
Yeah, but then you obviously get the flip side of the coin where people are exploiting those things, where people are giving money to the homeless on camera just to have this, to paint this persona of being a humanitarian. Dude,
the amount of fucking that's a big thing I'm with now. I feel like so many of these TikToks are now they're scripted, right? I believe a lot of these are scripted. Like, you'll see a couple arguing at dinner about who's paying the bill, and then the last question of the tweet is, who should have to pay the bill here? Like, they want the people to voice their opinions, but you almost feel like it's too perfect of a video for all this to go down. And I've seen way too many of them, and it's like, again, they're trying to shape our values. And now how you see them is totally up to you. Whether you think it should be a 50-50 bill, you think a man should cover it, a woman should cover it, that's totally up to you. But again, they're just forcing us in a way to think about something that is completely irrelevant and does nothing for us. I guess that's social media as a whole, you know?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think, it's funny, man. You get a lot of this talk about, all right, one of the huge social media dudes who's been in the news a lot as of late is Top G, Andrew Tate, right? The most misogynistic, toxic masculine figure I think that there's ever been in popular society. And, he recently got arrested off of rape allegations and things like that. And he immediately starts to talk about this idea of the Matrix and how the Matrix is working against him and shit like that. And I think it's so funny that he doesn't see himself as the Matrix. Like, these kids there's people signing up to his fucking Hustlers University, which is completely just this misogynistic cult.
I'm not hip to this. I don't really keep up with them.
Misogynistic cult shit where you pay a subscription, I think it's like $50 a month or something, and you get these online courses about like how to make money online and shit like that, how to be a Casanova, how to get girls and shit like that. And you have kids that are fucking stealing their parents' credit cards and shit to pay this fucking guy.
I don't want to cut you off, but you ever see the Pickup Artist on MTV?
Yeah.
That reminds me of that one. Yeah, thing where they'd send 8 dudes and get to the next round, you got to bring home a chick in a certain amount of minutes, and it's like...
It's crazy. Like, I don't understand. You don't see yourself as the Matrix when you have all these fucking people. Like, these kids fucking completely brainwashed that that's the right thing to do, or like that's solid. That makes you a man and shit. It's crazy.
Well, kind of like it brings up the point, like a lot of people feel that growing up, men never had emotional intelligence. And I think in the last half decade, social media or just the way the world's been evolving is allowing men to be able to express themselves better and be able to understand the feelings that they're feeling. Word. But then every now and again, you see this one bad motherfucker that's like, that's a man, dude. That's what society, even when we were growing up, was like, this is a man.
Right.
Toxic toxic, again, I think it's a subjective word because it depends.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if you, I take my dad, for example. He got raised in a home with his great-grandmother, his grandmother, and his mother. And he was a big mama's boy, not really a tough guy. I'm not saying my dad wasn't a man, but, he wasn't the dude that came up with
But he wasn't. Sorry.
He wasn't the type of man that came home, hands torn up and shit,
Right.
My dad was a defense attorney, just kind of doing his thing, kicking back, but low-key kind of a bitch.
Right, but I think, what I'm saying is, having a singular, a monolithic idea of what a man is or what anything is supposed to be, what any person is supposed to be, is completely detrimental to the fabric of American society. And that's the Matrix. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, I just find it very ironic that this person can get behind this idea that the world is conspiring against them. When, in fact, you're conspiring against a peaceful, harmonious, direction that the world could be going in by admitting that, you could have feelings and shit like that. But whatever. This is funny because I was thinking about, I saw this Vice video the other day. I don't think I watched the whole thing, but there's another trend going around. There's guys online, and this is controversial, and I want to get your take on it. There's guys going around hunting sexual predators, right? And they film this shit, and they go around and they pose as little kids on the internet, and they get these creeps to, you know, meet them somewhere, and then they Chris Hansen them. They pull out the cameras and you're here to meet a 12-year-old boy, you know, and they make a big scene about it or whatever. And, you know, I think in that Vice video, the same conversation came up where it's like, are you guys just doing this for, you know, are you doing this for social media likes, and you're doing it for attention to gain following? Or are you doing this for, you know, benevolent reasons to get the sexual predators off the street? And I was torn about it. And I just want to, you know, I don't know if you've seen anything like that.
No, I think you're spot on, because it kind of brings me to the thought of like the people paying it forward shit, you know. Is this dude just doing it to get views and generate income? You know, like I'll never forget, like 2-3 years ago, there's this homeless dude, maybe it was Philly, but somewhere around us, this wife and this husband made a GoFundMe for him. Real nice, touching story. They ended up getting like $400,000 donated to him. They didn't give him a fucking dollar. They used it all. They bought themselves a new car. They bought themselves a new house.
Yeah, so
2 years later,
she got arrested.
they went to jail, dude. And it's like, how do we know all these motherfuckers aren't doing this already, but they're just doing it for less money, to the point like they're getting swept under the rug? Like all those people that scammed the government out of unemployment during COVID
are totally different.
They're gonna come for you, motherfucker. They are going to come for you, whether you did $800 or $8,000 or $80,000. It's eventually just gonna come down. So I'm starting to think, when are all these people that are internet celebrities going to be exposed as frauds?
Yeah. But so...
The trend, though, right?
Right, the trend. And the little bit of the clip that I watched, you know, you have the Vice interviewer, like, you know, are you doing this just for attention? And the guy, you know, defensively, you know, he goes, who cares? If we're getting sexual predators off the street, if we're exposing these creeps, who cares if I'm doing it for attention or not? I'm like, well, I care a little bit, right? Because then it's like, who's to say you're not a sexual predator?
Right, and it's the other angle, and it's just like that dude.
You're just framing it, like, so you could be going around getting your competition off the street. I don't like that. You know, you're just trying to make it so that you can have all the kids to yourself. I don't know.
It brings you back. Could that video be scripted? Could that be his buddy? And he says, just walk into this Walmart. I'm going to scream real loudly. Right. And it's like, that shit happens, dude.
Right. So it's like, dude, I mean, with this media shit, everybody having a camera and everybody being able to make a podcast or do, you know, make a
fake
YouTube
news.
channel.
It's going to be huge.
You know, like, there's
fake videos.
See, I saw too, like in schools, they're starting information literacy programs because there's so much fake news. There's so much bullshit out here, and like who can you trust? You can't trust CBS or anybody anymore. So it's like, how do you? You know what I mean? I don't even know. Like, where do you start in deciphering what to trust?
So as far as video culture for me, I'm going to do what everyone does on Twitter. I go look at the comments. You know, I see those people like, I knew him, I grew up with him. And it's like, they could be lying for all we fucking know.
Right, but it's like, yeah, again, like, what is that?
Nothing.
Where's the validity? There's nothing to back anything up.
One thing I do with bigger news stories that are more like taking the whole United States or it's a world thing, I read it from a left and a right wing point of view. And I ignore all the little vocab where they're trying to shift me to be biased. You know, the little headline, I'm looking at the facts as they are. And if they're both saying the same facts, then I judge it based on that. But also, like, I don't really allow social media to interrupt my values and morals. Like, for example, right, in Texas, we were talking about this the other night, this man who had just gotten out of prison robbed a Mexican restaurant with a metal BB gun. And he was taking everyone's wallets. And when the guy's back's turned while he's robbing another patron, some gentleman in a booth takes out his gun and shoots him 4 times. The guy's now defenseless, laying on the ground. It's like, all right, you did your job. Continues to shoot him 4 more times, and then even puts one in the back of the guy's head. Now, for me, as a point of view, as my dad being a lawyer, immediately I'm thinking that's overkill, and that puts you in prison. Majority of people, though, especially the people on Fox 8 News, are like, oh, he's just standing up for himself.
And what about the people on the scene?
Here's the other thing.
Victims of this robbery.
The victims applauded him. He gave everyone back their wallets, and before the cops could show up, he left. Skedaddled. So to me, it's like, dude, you just broke the law so much. I'm thinking of it as a lawyer point of view. A lot of other people are thinking he just saved all those people's lives. Mind you, it was a metal BB gun, but I get you don't know in the moment, right? Even the mother came to that. She's like, if he died because he was putting other people's lives at risk, I get it, but that was overkill, and I agree with that, right? But to a lot of people, they look at that and they're praising it right now, and Fox 8 News is shifting it one way. I go read it at CNN, and they're with the Black Panther group promoting it, and it's two completely different opinions. And I'm just like, I'm looking at the facts that this was overkill in a court of law. But mind you, it's Texas. Texas is its own fucking country. So I try not to view things with a biased point of view, but I definitely have my own values and morals in place. You know, that's my biggest thing. I don't allow the headline. I don't allow the clickbait. I don't allow the little adjectives to shift my point of view and how I'm going to judge it.
Right. I mean, hearing that, it definitely sounds excessive. You don't have to, if you try to do it 4 times in the back and he's laying on the ground, bleeding out, I don't think there's any need for you.
Not even moving anymore. Face.
Yeah, he's probably dead at that point anyway. I don't think there's any need for you to put one in his head.
But then it tells me, you did something wrong because you didn't stay for the police.
Yeah, for sure. It was cool. Yeah, I would. If I was there and I got robbed and this dude shot this dude in the back and gave him my wallet back, I'd be like, sick. But then once he walks out and decides to put a bullet in this guy's head, I'm be like, why the fuck did you do that? I didn't ask you to do that.
Now, here's what I noticed the difference between the CNN and the Fox article, right? Mm-hmm. Fox loves what he was doing, use certain adjectives to say he shot the criminal who was robbing the hero. Right. They call him the hero, right?
Right.
What they don't add, though, that CNN said, as the man was walking out, he poured his drink on the dead guy's body.
Oh, yeah, that's way too much.
And it's like, bro, it's like not that that's going to be anything in a court of law to lock you up, but like,
no, but that just
what you're doing, bro.
Further that you overdid that.
If you really wanted to stir it, there's articles that are saying a white man shot a black man. It's just like, bro, like.
See, I like those articles. Because, if you make that guy a cop, and it's not the same, it's the same old story that we,
been hearing the last 3-4 years.
Yeah. And I think police brutality and art, as a society, our ineffectiveness to, like, reprimand the police who overdo their job encourages behavior like that. And so that's why you get people calling this dude a hero and shit, because the cops do it and we don't do anything for them or to them,
And I think we're at a point right now with, like, you either love or hate the police, and we're just kind of at a point.
You know how we stand. Fuck the police.
You at a point where you love or hate the police, and you're going to have those people that go, if something goes wrong, who are you going to call? You got to call 911. Yeah. We also get it from the other point of view where I can't understand it empathetically, but as a black person, you deal with it at a complete different level.
Right. And honestly, I say fuck the police as a joke. There's situations where, the police come to play, and they could, everybody might need them at one point or another. And
I think what's interesting about the police is they didn't do anything for you, and I think that brings us on to our next topic, something that's been going on for the last year. Quentin actually got struck by the Kia boys.
Shout out to the Kia boys, bitch ass niggas. Let's talk about the Kia boys. For those who don't know, who haven't seen the trends, the TikToks, the YouTube videos, or the news lately, the Kia boys is any group of any young males usually. They go around and they found, I don't know how it started. Somebody put a video online
from Milwaukee,
about Kias and Hyundais are allegedly very easy to break into and hotwire and steal, right? And so these kids, they break your back window. If they break the right side, they can bypass the alarm, so the alarm won't go off. They'll get into your car, break around the steering shaft, the plastic around the steering shaft. And if they break behind the ignition mechanism,
and then use a USB.
There's the USB part, like of a charger or anything, fits up perfectly to the ignition mechanism that you break, behind the steering shaft and all that shit. So it's very easy. They just take that USB and they can start your car. So the other day I was going out to work. I had to work at like 6 a.m. Come down to my car and I realized the window, it looks like the window's down. I'm like, did I leave the fucking window down? So I look in the car and there's glass everywhere. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, somebody broke into the car, right? I don't keep anything in the car. And it was still there, so I don't think anybody drove it or anything. Nothing was broken inside, just the window. It's funny, as I come out to the car and I'm evaluating the scene, there is a police officer who drives right by me up the street, and he made a U-turn at the top of the street. He's coming back toward me, and I flag him down. And it's funny as fuck. It's 6 a.m, right? Like, nobody's out.
Wasn't it New Year's Day?
Yeah, it's New Year's Day. My car's had been broken into. I flagged this cop down. He has his window down because it's warmer out. And he goes, "Good morning," and was about to keep driving past me. And I'm like, "What? No, nigga, get the fuck out of the car. Like, what are you doing? Like, hold up." I'm like, "Yo, somebody broke into my car." He's like, "Oh, shit." He stopped, gets out. He's like, he has his little pad. He's like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "There's 2 Kias in the area right now that are stolen, have been reported stolen. Every time I get near them, they drive off." And I was like, "The fuck you mean they drive? Like, aren't you a cop? Like, what do you mean they drive off? Like, shouldn't we be pursuing them?" But I came to learn that actually in Cleveland, there is a no pursuit order on the police, so they can only chase vehicles up to a mile, and it's just for them to get information on the car, license plates, description, shit like that. But they can't actually chase them. But whatever. After all of this, I did my research on the Kia boys and figured out that this is a trend. And I gotta say, this is the first time. I'll be 25 on Monday. This is the first time in my 25 years that I felt old. And I felt out of touch. I didn't know that this was a thing going on, And I went over to your house and we watched the videos and shit. And I was dumbfounded. I was like, wow. I've done some stupid shit as a young man, but I didn't steal cars. And I certainly, once I investigated further and I saw what these Kia boys steal the cars for, it's fucking stupid. It's the dumbest shit I've ever seen. They steal your car to go on joyrides. And there's videos of these kids. It's literally in the interview with this kid's like, "Yeah, you bitches suck your dick when you pull up in that thing," right? And it's like a fucking Kia and a Hyundai. Like, who? Like, who in their right mind is sucking your dick if you pull up in a Kia or a Hyundai?
The hoes.
I mean, but like these are like, they said the average age of these kids doing this is like 12 to 16.
Bro,
these are like 11 and 12-year-old kids.
Most of these kids know if they get caught, bro, it's like low-key kind of just a slap on the wrist. You're going to have, like, nowadays, bro, nobody's getting locked up for, like, felony 5s.
Right.
They don't care for that, bro.
It's crazy, but it's just like, damn, like, they inconvenienced the fuck out of me. We had to I got to pay to repair this window and shit.
Which I'm thinking, if anybody's out there in Cleveland looking to make $1 million, you should make a Kia and Hyundai window repair company. You can make a lot of money. That,
or you should be scratching the VINs off these cars. We don't condone criminal activity. But, if you were smart, I think you would steal a car to go, get some money for it or something.
Are you going to drop?
Not just to joyride it. These kids joyrided 80 miles an hour
while
up some residential street, swerving back and forth. I'm like, nigga, I've done crazier shit than that, like on Dead Man's Curve.
Like, no, I think they said 620 or 30 have been stolen in Cleveland in the last couple months. Yeah,
it's crazy. It's actually an epidemic, if I do say so. But y'all little asses need to sit the fuck down. Go to the house, man. Sit your ass down. Go read a book. Join a fucking sports team or some shit, and leave my car the fuck alone.
But hey, bro, it's for the views, man.
Fuck the views. No, because if you even posting this shit, I mean. You're gonna have a case. And yeah, it might be a slap on the wrist, but you still gotta go through the court process and shit,
Motherfuckers, again, but I think it just brings us back to our thing. Like, there's the good trends that, are trying to influence people to do things, and there's the people that want to berate them and just kind of tear them down and let them know, like, that's stupid, you're just doing for the film. And then you get the people that are doing reckless shit for the film that are influencing people to go do the reckless shit.
Right.
And there's no good out of it.
I don't know, man. It's like just chaos for the sake of it is.
We love chaos. Don't get us wrong.
But I mean, I feel like you gotta focus it in on something. You know what I mean? These are people just doing shit with they don't know shit about nothing.
And now don't get us wrong, like 15, 16, 17, we're doing some stupid ass shit, but it's not the day where there's so many cameras around where it's like,
yeah, man.
We did stupid shit to make our friends laugh. I didn't do stupid shit to make random people I didn't know laugh. Right. I couldn't give a fuck about.
All I'm gonna say is next time, steal my whip, crash it, so that we could get that bread.
Well, the thing is, they only broke your window. They didn't actually rip the whole shit down.
Right, so it's even more inconvenient because you just fuck my window up. I gotta pay for it, But if you would have stole their whip and like crashed it into a tree or some shit and totaled it, we would have got that insurance. That would have came through crazy, but.
Just a broken window.
Whatever.
Which is
Next
why the
time,
business
kids,
idea is great.
do me a favor and steal the car. Thanks.
Just give me a cut of that business.
That's it.
Anyway, so moving on from a little bit of the hot takes that have gone on in the last 12 months, catching y'all up.
Well, I think this is a big thing, right?
Well, go ahead.
This is a big thing that happened in 2022. There were a couple big things involving one person, and we did mention his name briefly earlier, but obviously, yes, we got to talk about Kanye West just a little bit, especially Harry being Jewish, right? And all the anti-Semitic rhetoric that's been thrown around with Kanye West, starting with Kanye West, King Hitler. I don't think it's bad.
Well, can we just get to the first part of the meltdown? The most important thing that it kind of started with is, I don't want to pull Kyrie into it because Kyrie's just his own.
I feel like it was kind
of. But let's start with this. What color was Jesus?
Brown. He should be brown.
He wasn't this. No. He was not this.
No.
Sorry, white folk. But he's just not. And honestly, there were parts of what I agreed with what Kanye said. Norm Macdonald even had a little bit on it. 1938 Time Magazine Man of the Year. People at the Olympics when it was hosted in Germany were going up and shaking his hand. They knew who he was. Yeah. Shaking his hand and giving him the respect.
Right.
And to the people of Germany at the time, that was a revolving figure, So I understand where Kanye was saying he was great with speeches. He was a great leader. He was a decorated World War I veteran. Sounds great on paper. And he had his fucked up side of history. And unfortunately, history only remembers you for the things you did wrong, not the things you did right. They couldn't give a shit. It's the world. History repeats itself. Now we got social media. And it's the same things. I don't think Kanye was in the wrong at first. And then it was yo, bro, when you just know you're chill. It's what was the one who was doing the interview? I'm not going to name what religion he was or something. Jewish.
Right.
And it's bro, you know what you're doing. Fuck, man. That boosted, Kanye has a lot of Trump supporters.
Yeah, for sure.
That boosted a lot of anti-Semitism just going hard, bro. Kids, I was seeing videos of kids spray painting swastikas, and I hadn't seen that. My dad's I haven't seen that since I was in school. And I was bro, it's the gremlins are coming back.
Yeah, man. I think, that's the shit. Speaking for myself, and bear with me, being a Kanye fan, right? And this is up until this point. I've been a Kanye fan, I feel my entire life. I'm a fan of all of his art. Right, music, clothes, shoes, whatever he's been a part of creatively. I've tuned into it and I've thoroughly enjoyed it, at least 75%, if not more. Right, and then he gets off the wagon and starts to do shit like this. And starts to hang out with alt-right dudes. Starts to make White Lives Matter shirts and shit like that on the Alex Jones podcast. I think the craziest thing for me. And the most shocking, what woke me up to being oh, this nigga's a problem. It's him on the Alex Jones podcast.
Didn't Alex Jones tell him to chill?
Alex Jones, of all people, is telling Kanye West to chill. That's crazy, right?
A man with $1 billion lawsuit for saying the Sandy Hook elementary shooting was...
Which is fucking crazy. That's problematic as fuck and super insensitive, right? And for somebody like that to be yo, you don't mean you love Hitler. And he's no, he doubles down. I was oh yeah, this nigga, he's too far gone,
Now, here's what I will say. I'm a fan of Kanye's music. I don't necessarily think he should be canceled because he's still going to continue to influence people with his fashion, with his music, just the man he is. However, I do think he needs to dial back on the social media because I don't think he realizes how strong of an influence he has.
The way you're talking, though, is you're saying, from what I can pick up on so far, is that you're saying that he has some sort of comeback.
No, for sure, bro.
You think so?
Everyone has a comeback, bro.
Me, I don't. This is the one time where I felt because Kanye's done crazy shit in the past.
His ex-wife got famous with "Come on Her Back."
Anyway, fuck, that was really bad. Anyway, he's done crazy shit in the past, and he's bounced back from it. the slavery was a choice thing. It was, you know, whatever. We had to
Wild.
you had to peel back the theatrics and understand the point that he's trying to make. And even throughout this, I think just up until the Alex Jones shit, I was taking it with a grain of salt. A lot of the anti-Semitic shit. It was like, I see what you mean. Like he said multiple times, like, how can I be anti-Semitic when I'm like, you know, I'm a Israelite or whatever.
I get that. And the other thing was, he pointed out something I know. The thing that really, I think, pissed a lot of Jews off was he goes, the Jews run the world. They run the banks, the 1%.
Right, Hollywood, all that shit.
I've known this, man. I've literally known this since I was a kid. My dad used to tell me all this shit about, like, how Jews have a lot of control.
See, this is where I'm at, where I'm like, are you advocating for Kanye or not?
My buddy Jack at work hit me with, why isn't Germany as funny as it used to be? Or as rich as it used to be? And it's like, because Hitler killed all the Jews. It's like a lot of comedians are Jewish, you know?
That's true, yeah.
So it's like, to me, like, dude, Kanye was pointing out stuff that I knew a lot of people in the 1% were Jewish.
Yeah, like, I mean, a lot of the shit, I was like, okay, I've heard the Black Israelite shit multiple times, you know? I know some of that history and shit. I like the theories. But just making blanket statements like, I love Hitler, knowing that people have trouble, like, deciphering what you're trying to say anyway. I mean, to me, it all feels very intentional.
And certain people, their blood boils. They're like, oh, fuck them. And then the other people are like, their endorphins dump. Oh, yeah. Right. KKK.
See, it feels all very intentional. Like, he's trying to get a rise out of people and shit like that. And I just feel like, you know, as a black man, fan, supporter of him, you can't openly be that anymore. You can't openly be a Kanye supporter. And these, you know, that's too volatile. People are not going to like that. And I don't love Hitler. I don't like shit like you could say a lot of shit about Hitler. You could try to make light of the thinker that he was or whatever.
The decorated war veteran.
The speech.
1938 Time Magazine Man of the Year.
All of that shit. You could try to make light of that shit and say that he had good qualities.
Great speech giver.
But ultimately, man, the shit that he did was fucking evil, man. It was, and I can't get behind that.
Monstrosities, like,
and I can't get behind somebody that's like champion that, you know.
No, for sure.
Even if you're trying to, you know, if his point at the end of the day is to be like, I love all people no matter what, because that's what God would do. Well, that's what Jesus would do. It's
well, let me ask you this: did you see
them niggas ain't alive? Okay, I'm not saying God is dead, but I know Jesus died, right?
Well, you can't tell me you didn't see this shit coming, because remember when he backed Trump? Everybody was like, Kanye, bro, you're losing your fucking mind right now. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that was could have been the first red flag. But then honestly, he goes into all the gospel, and it's like, oh, maybe he's a man of God, which I don't think he's not now. But it's like, it looked like,
it's definitely
because everybody can back a man of God, but then it's like you say that one thing you probably shouldn't say, and then you continue to say things that are like, man, what the fuck? Like, I can't get dropped by Adidas. All that shit, bro. They're like, oh, bet, watch.
That's part, like, that brings up, like, what I'm.
And Adidas raised the price of the shoe now by
crazy.
$10. And they took off his Yeezy shit.
All the shit, yeah. Which is crazy, but that just makes me not like Christianity even more. Because that just shows, like, man, y'all are fucking die for that shit off the wrong principles. And it's crazy. Like where did you get so confused that this shit is about hate? Like, I don't understand.
Again, it's the bullshit social media influence, which is something, you know, we'll continue to cover throughout this season. For sure. We definitely will have all our guests bringing up their hot takes.
We're definitely going to have Kanye on the podcast. Just wait on it.
Hopefully. Which also brings on to our next thing. So this season, we're going to be introducing something called the most important questions from our audience. And whether you DM us letting know you want it to be anonymous, if not, we're going to read off your @name, whether you're DMing us off Instagram, Twitter, or sending us private messages to our text, you know, we got you covered. So without further ado, let's knock out our first question.
All right, so our first question comes from Secret Plain Hex, the little homie. His first question was thoughts on Kanye's mental state.
I think we knocked that out.
We kind of knocked that out, but I mean, just to speak specifically to his mental state, he's crazy.
I think he's getting better. He admitted
he's crazy.
He admitted he was bipolar. He just got married.
I think his mental state is fragile, and he has shunned away the people that could really help him get better. And what needs to happen now is going to be completely up to him. You know.
The cards are in your hand, Kanye. Come on to the show. All right.
The next person is also from Secret Planet Hacks, and it is the most anticipated albums of 2023. What do you got? You got anticipated albums?
Honestly, I feel like Kanye's gonna end up dropping something. That's something.
And
I'll
that's
be
the
waiting
most
for.
anticipated album
Dude,
for you?
it's going to be.
That's crazy.
Because everybody's like, is he gonna get back to rap?
He hates Jews.
He makes good music. He makes good music. Do not knock him. You know.
I mean, I'm just gonna say, like, I'm not listening to Morgan Wallen, and I know that Morgan Wallen. I don't think Morgan Wallen hates niggas. Like, Lil Baby vouched for him, and I think that's wild. But I'm all, that's enough for me to be like, no, I'm not.
I guess what I'm anticipating is I want to see Gunna drop something. I just want to see how bad it shits. Because I want to see, like, is the internet really that big of trolls where they're so hurt that he snitched that they're not going to listen to a guy that makes good music? Like, you got the white kid sitting behind his keyboard that goes to high school and gets straight A's. Man, I would never snitch, not on my G's.
I'm dead.
And it's like, bro, it's like.
No, I feel you.
Come on, bro.
Honestly, that's
like,
a good one. Like, Gunna. Because I feel like that.
You think Gunna's calling the hits on motherfuckers? Like,
no, but I think the whole YSL trial will make, if Gunna is planning to drop this year, would make it more anticipated based off everything that's going on.
Oh, for sure. Any YSL affiliate dropping an album will be interesting.
For me, I'm going to say J. Cole. I feel like we haven't heard from J. Cole.
You see that YouTube shit he dropped today?
Yeah.
That was awesome. I think that's a big stepping stone for a lot of producers that they're going to go harder now on YouTube because it's like you never know who's watching.
Exactly.
Never.
Very cool. So, yeah, that's what I would say. Also, I'm going to make my own question off of that. What were your favorite albums of 2022?
I'm going to be honest, man. I really wasn't exploring too much music. I more dove deep into a different genre, getting more into orchestra, classical kind of music, Hans Zimmer.
We hate Harry.
Hey, man.
No, it's cool.
Thanks, guy.
But yeah,
I'm starting to.
Been on the classical shit.
Dude, I'm just.
Where do you listen to classical music? Are you all the time in the car? As soon as you leave from here, you're gonna be playing.
Dude, like classical music allows me to. Let me backtrack. They came out to study when you're running or you're doing something and there's that background bass or beat, you start to think or you start to move at that speed.
Yeah, right.
And classical music just keeps my mind calm. I keep my thoughts together. Shit's going at the speed I want it to. If I need to relax, I can make that happen. Again, it does influence emotions at times. Like, it's good music. I'll play to how I'm feeling. But other times it's just for me to like, I'm walking my dogs. I need to go clear my head where I can't hear lyrics. I don't hear voices. I don't hear tone. I just want to hear my music.
I like that.
But honestly, also, for me, I've been trying to just listen to the world instead of putting in music in my ears. So a lot of the time I'm doing that now when I go out.
That's cool. I'm a music guy, so.
No, for sure. This is your avenue, brother.
That's what I like, So I can say my favorite albums of 2022, I think I have 3. First, we're going to go with, and this was 2022, right? Call Me If You Get Lost, dropped 2022. No, it was 21? Oh, fuck. Never mind, then. Don't count that one. Let me go. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, Kendrick, was certainly 22. And that was, it was phenomenal. Probably one of, if not the best rap album of the year.
Was Kendrick's 2022?
Yeah. For sure that.
Okay, that'd probably be up there for me.
So that'd be that'd be one of them, and then I think number 2. I gotta say, my girl SZA, SOS was so fire, and it was honestly top to bottom incredible, and we are going to see SZA in February in Columbus,
and we're seeing micro wrestling on Thursday. I'm so excited for this. If you guys don't know, Thursday, January 26th, micro wrestling, the small people of the WWE world are coming to Lakewood, man.
Shout out to micro wrestling. Honestly, we're gonna try our hardest to
get really drunk and buy in.
Well, that and try to get them on the show or some shit. We want to connect with the micro wrestling crowd
for sure.
And
so
listen, we support all of our micro wrestlers and micro people.
It's electric.
I don't know if that's the thing. Anyway, keep going.
So our main thing is with this thing, we're also going to limit to about 5 questions. So the other ones we couldn't get to, our apologies. Next question comes from Your Dreams. She asked, what's been your most monumental moment in the last year?
What's been my most monumental moment?
Like a small victory, I guess, that like made me.
That is a really good question.
I guess I'll go real quick. For me, it was going on like my first trip completely by myself. Went to West Virginia, did some like solo hiking, completely by myself. No signal, no Wi-Fi. 3 days of car camping, hiking by myself, and honestly, like it was, man, you're only focused on the little details, and they mean so much to you. Versus when you come home, it's like, man, I gotta clean the sink, I gotta clean the bathroom. It's a hassle. But when you're out in the woods, like those little things, just they feel great. I'm not worried about anyone else. I'm not worried about what's going on with other people. I'm just in that moment. I'm worried about me, and that for me was a huge step, just in the last few years that's happened in my life. So that was a big part.
That's dope. I like that. For me, I think mine is also similar. Like it's about travel. Me and my girl went to New Orleans for a week, and that was really cool. I don't think New Orleans is a magical place. Let me just say, if you've never been, you should definitely check it out. If you're into music, if you're into culture, art, and shit like that, it's really like a mecca of sorts in that regard. And I think that shit just opened up my head. It put me in a more calm mental state for sure. And I came back with this like rejuvenated, more motivated energy, and I felt more creative and stuff like that. So I gotta say that it's probably the most monumental thing for me. What we got next?
Sounds like you had lots of sex, guy.
Yeah, I did. Hey.
More fun than the
Let
trips
me tell
we
you
went
something,
on.
kids. I'll put it down. Anyway. What?
Nothing.
You trying to fuck me?
We're getting hard.
Anyway. Our next question comes from not Calvin Riley. Is Lamar Jackson staying in Baltimore?
So I hate to admit this. Before we get to the Lamar Jackson thing, I hate that I only really got into football recently because it took us taking a fantasy league and throwing money into it, and then me keeping up with it, wanting to win, and then sports gambling became illegal. It's like, oh, now I'm really heads in. Because you can bet which team Lamar Jackson's going to be on now.
Right.
Like, now that sports gambling's legal, like, I'm starting to pay attention to sports more, and I'm like, my thought is the best odds right now are the New England Patriots. Second's the New York Jets. If you want my honest opinion, I think he's going to re-sign with Baltimore, though. And if not Baltimore, he'll sign with the Jets.
I think he'll stay in Baltimore, but I do think the Jets would be...
The Patriots don't fucking need him. I don't get why they're the front runner.
I think the Jets would be a solid move for him. Also, I think it would be really funny if he went to the Chargers. I think that would be fucking hilarious. But anyway.
Last one.
Last one
comes from Marcus Smith Music. Shout out Marcus, man.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Marcus, man.
So, what are the last 5 websites in your browser history? Man,
Let's see.
I know mine ain't bad.
Let's see.
Pacific East, True People Search, Breaking Bad, and then just a bunch of Breaking Bad shit. Damn, I'm lame.
You are lame.
I'm not sitting there looking at porn on my browser history and leaving it up for somebody to find it. I'm on a cleanse right now.
My browser history. There's a Banner Printing of America.
Fuck Jason.
This fancy restaurant called Marble Room Steaks and Raw Bar. That I was trying to plan something around. Poetry Foundation. Shout out to Poetry Foundation. I try going there every day and just at least read the poem of the day. I'm very big into that shit. And poetry is very important, guys. If you're not into it, fuck you. Okay? YouTube. And I was watching some drum paradiddle tutorial. But I've been really into the drums lately. That's something I picked up this year. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame website and Cleveland Scene. Nothing incriminating.
You're A-okay.
All right, man. I've been trying to get off the porn.
Baby porn?
Nah, never that.
Before we continue down the list, we were talking about it at work today. Why, when somebody has sex with a little child, like
what
a man,
the fuck?
Hold on, when a man has sex with a boy, they just call him a pedophile. They don't call him a gay pedophile. They just call him a pedophile.
Yeah,
I've always wondered that. We went back and we started looking through, like, nobody called Michael Jackson a gay pedophile. They just said
just pedophile.
You know?
Interesting. Why do we discriminate against the LGBTQ plus community in pedophilia? This is an outrage. We should get a pedophile on the show, and
you should touch a boy and figure out why they don't. Anyway, so the main thing is here, guys. We just want to let you know season 3's back. A lot of things to come here in 2023. A lot of hot takes.
That was the fucking weirdest shit. Anyway,
a lot of hot takes. A lot of important people coming on to the show here. Yeah. You know, our main thing is here. We're back in black.
Yeah, you know, this is just obviously we do this every time we come back. Every E1 of every season. It's always just me and Harry sitting and getting back at it, warming up again.
There you go, guy.
I missed you, man. Yeah, touch me under the table some more. Oh yeah, guys, and we're on YouTube now. We're doing videos. Hope we look good.
No, especially. So any people that also think they're important enough to want to come on the show, feel free to reach out to either Q or I or any of our social medias.
Not me.
Instagram, We Important. Twitter, We Important Podcast. You know, continue to follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever avenue you listen to. And if we're not on there, we'll find a way to get on there.
Absolutely.
You know, the big thing is, this is a big branding gear. And any guests that come on, man, we got shirts for you. And any people that just want to buy any of our shirts, feel free to check out any of the links and any of our social medias. It'll direct you to our website to check out our shirts to buy, from the Earth Globe, We Important, to the Q and Me sketch that our buddy Jared did for us. You know, the main thing is we're trying to get out there with our brand, and we'd love for you guys to support us more.
For sure. Thank you for listening. Make sure, you know, we do this new segment, questions from the audience. So
make
sure you're asking questions. Ask questions about us. Ask questions about the world. Ask questions.
Feel free to throw out topics. You know, our main thing here is we want to start to get our people involved that are avid listeners and continue to always let us know that they support the show, because that means so much to us. So continue to DM us. Let us know what you're thinking, what you want to ask. We'll make it happen.
That's right.
And last thing we got to wrap it up by, as usual. Q, you got the most important words to live by?
The most important words to live by, kids. Listen very closely. Open up your mind. Open up your heart. And be receptive to what life has to show you. Life is always trying to show you what you need to see. And if you're closed off to it, you're not going to grow. Straight up.
There you go.
Bitch.
Well, that's it. I like that.
Where you been, darling, darling? Where you been, darling, darling? Where you been, darling? We've been holding